the word that we want to use. Because I believe that beyond just focusing on what that word is, the connotations that today describe our industry are what we also need to focus on if we want to make this a very effective kind of a message. So I think the discussion should really go significantly beyond the word outsourcing and focus on how clients, prospects, and the Western economies see us as providers, as well as how potential employees within this country, as well as other stakeholders, including the government, see us as a group of business leaders. When the word first came into being, and I mean by that the whole BPO word as such, it was seen as one of the greatest contributors to the world. And in fact, the excitement that we saw around this, and which drove a lot of growth for some of the companies over the past few years, was essentially the same kind of excitement that we saw when 3M introduced Post-it, and many other companies introduced other innovations. This was a fantastic solution, and to some extent was seen as a panacea for all, to take care of all ills. You could essentially interact with a group of people sitting offshore. You could provide to them, the kind of processes that you normally, provide to your internally, and you could get them to essentially deliver the same processes more efficiently, much lower in cost, and therefore build tremendous outcomes. Over a period of time, again, it became a very exciting solution because it meant companies like us were actually helping drive, client companies' profitability. And obviously, it was an exciting kind of situation. But if you look at how the business has evolved over the past 4 or 5 years, you will see the old messages have changed dramatically. It's no more just about cost reduction. It's much more about not just efficiency gains, but much more about the technology and transformational inputs that we have now brought into the business, as a result of which most of us are focused on using our domain knowledge and enhanced capability around analytics, around finance and accounting, technology and transformation to drive outcomes for our clients and therefore help them stay ahead of their competition, if not demolish their competition. Somewhere that message has got lost, right? And as the industry has kept evolving and moving higher and higher in terms of the value chain, we've not been able to, as a group of leaders, present some of these messages, I think, into the client geographies as well as to the various stakeholders. And therefore, my view at this point in time is, even as we change that word and move away from the word outsourcing, even today, if we changed it to the word value, business process value, business process transformation, business process extension, what does it mean? The client is still, the outside economies are still going to focus on job losses because it's the word offshoring that is actually, much more difficult for them to digest today. And internally, even within this country, since we have not done a good job of actually explaining to students, to career counselors, to influencers, the huge change that has taken place in this industry, you will see that even the media sometimes focus only on the negative stories of a very large-scale business that all of us are actually running at this point in time. Some data points that I want to talk about before I get off the stage. The first is, I don't know how many of you realize this, but India provides direct employment opportunities now to 1.98 million people in this business. Indirect employment to almost 7.5 million people. 70% of the people working in this industry actually come from Tier 2 and Tier 3 locations. That's the old model of taking people to the work. And the power of the system is tomorrow we can actually take work to the people by moving this model deeper and deeper into the Tier 2, Tier 3 cities. 55% approximately of the people who work in BPO in India are women. And close to 15 to 20% of the people who are directly engaged with BPO are now engineers, doctors, lawyers, accountants, PhDs, and people who are driving a completely different capability for all of us within our companies. Somewhere that message has got lost, and I think as we make this change, I have no truck with changing the word outsourcing because I think it's politically right. It's the right message to send out so that we at least have one less battle to fight. But I think along with this, we are extremely focused now as NASSCOM and the industry body as well as individual companies in terms of busting the myths that surround this industry, especially in the client geographies as well as with potential employees, because what we want to do is to clearly communicate that we have moved dramatically up the value chain and we are not here to take somebody's job, but we are here to transform them and help them stay ahead of competition, help them stay ahead of legislative changes because of our superior knowledge and technology. And for youngsters in this country, we want to present this as the most exciting career option for all of them.